Yo, what's going on, everyone? So I got some clips that didn't have audio, so I thought this would be the perfect time to kind of chat with you guys a little bit. And we'll probably talk about hunter traits today, and I'll run those clips in the background. So give my opinion on each trait, the changes that I think Crytek should make, and just ones I like or I don't like. So stick around if you want to hear my opinion. Yeah, and let's get into it. So starting off, I think first change I would like to see, so every hunter gets 15 hunter trait slots. I think it would be nice to see this expandable. So, you know, if you're surviving for a long time and you still want to like beef up your hunter, it would be nice to have more trait slots, because there's really no bad traits. It's just, you know, you have to be selective when you only have so many slots, especially when you start finding burn traits, which can easily fill up, you know, 5 of your hunter trait slots. I don't mind having to be selective, but I think that's the whole point of only getting a limited amount of trait points as you level up. That forces you to be selective. I don't like that, you know, you can't keep expanding your hunter. Maybe something that Crytek could change is like if you're extracting with a bounty token, every bounty that you extract with, maybe it expands your hunter trait inventory by 1, right? So that would be kind of cool to see. And then also I think it would be neat if they had a separate category for burn traits, just because like you can't, you know, you sell burn traits, you don't really get anything with it anyways, and it just ends up kind of filling up your hunter trait slots, which really sucks. So yeah, maybe like 5 red traits that your burn traits can go into, and it doesn't interfere with your hunter traits. I think that would be really cool to see. It would be cool if the bounty tokens were its own currency. So if you extract with like 2 bounties, you get 2 bounty points where you could spend it on specific traits. Just for example, if someone wanted to buy like death cheat, it could cost like, I don't know, 5 bounty token points. Anyway, that's my recommendation. I think it would be really cool because it's focusing more on the objective, having like the tokens, because you could buy specific traits with them. Just makes it more rewarding when you're actually getting the objective. But yeah, all right. So I'm just gonna go down the list here and give my opinion on each one. So let's get into it. All right, starting off. So Greyhound, sprint at full speed for a longer duration. So my number one problem with bounty hunt is all the running. I think they should just increase every hunter's sprint distance, and then also have this Greyhound trait. That's fine, but you can't even get to your first clue without being out of breath, and then, you know, throughout the rest of the match you're slow, unless you have conduit or stam shot. You know, it would just be nice if they just updated every hunter to just be able to run further. I know people want to transverse the bounty hunt map a little bit quicker, so they always talk about like, you know, trains and different ways to move out the map a little bit quicker, but I think they can start off by just allowing hunters to move a little bit more quickly. All right, so moving on, self skin. My recommendation on this one would be to make it where you can't catch on fire at all. I think that would be really interesting with certain combat situations. And, you know, there's so many different ways that you can burn a downed player, right? So they have the flare pistol, fuses, you know, world lanterns, and you have like dragon's breath and stuff, but there's no ways of actually putting out your teammates. And why that's a problem is if you don't have chokes as a tool, if your teammate gets firebombed, because now they're incentivizing firebombs because it burns quicker. If he's in a puddle of oil or a puddle of fire, it lasts 2 minutes, right? Well, oil will last much longer, but you can't do anything. So it would be nice if you had self skin where you could just run in and hand res your teammate in fire and not catch on fire. Still take char damage, just fireproof. That's what I would change about this one. All right. Okay, so we got Bullwork. Reduce the damage taken from explosives by 50%. Okay, that's nice, but it doesn't work on grenades, which a grenade is an explosion. So that's a little confusing. Should also work for grenades. All right, resilience. Your hunter revives up with up to full health. So I like this trait. I just wish it worked with solos. What I mean is I'm okay with solos being able to revive with full health, like a banish, right? Not missing health bars. I just think they should be revived like everyone else with 15 HP, and then they need resilience to be revived with 100% health. So update this where solos need to bring resilience. Iron Eye, this one I'm not really a big fan of this increasing the fire rate of bolt action rifles. To me, that's again, it kind of makes it not fair if you don't have this trait. I think it would be more interesting if maybe they change this where you can remain in iron sights while reloading. But anyway, this one's fine. I like Serpent. I just don't like the fact that you could actually pick up the bounty. I mean, interacting with things is one thing, but actually picking up the bounty, this defeats the whole purpose of the game. It's just encouraging, you know, grabbing the bounty and running away. 50 meters is a crazy distance. And by the time they even realize you're gone or that you serpent it, you probably put 100 meters between you and the team, and you just basically, you know, slurp it and run away. So it's just encouraging running and not actually playing the game. So not a big fan of it. And especially how the extractions are set up, which I'm not a fan of. You have to be 5 meters to contest an extraction. That's way too close. They should bump that up to like 20 meters. And again, speaking on not really with the solos, but more team-based, the fact that your team could stay in the extraction and then proceed to leave it as far as they want within 30 seconds, I think that's a problem, especially when teams have to get within 5 meters to contest, but then they could get ambushed by a team, you know, 30 meters out, and that team still extracts. All right, Lightfoot reduces the sound of walking through noise traps. So that's basically referring to walking over glass or cans. I think normally you would have to crouch over them, but with Lightfoot, you could just walk and it would be a lot quieter. Kind of wish this would work with tree branches, where if you tripped on a branch, it wouldn't like scare crows and stuff. It would be nice if that reduced the sound of tree branches pretty much. So that's what I would update Lightfoot to do. Quartermaster. Okay, Quartermaster, I think this should just be removed from the game. Especially, I don't even like how they're playing around with Gunrunner right now. If you think about it, first of all, how they basically dealt with stalemates, where you had rifle, you know, basically you have the bounty, you have all the shotgun players inside never coming out, and then you had all the rifle hunters on the outside never going in. So they thought, okay, Quartermaster would make people just basically more versatile and just good at everything, and they'll be more willing to do everything, and that's push in to a compound or whatnot. The issue is now this game's just a shotgun meta, and I think it took away from the greatness when this game first came out. If you removed Quartermaster, it would, for one, and there's ways to break up the stalemate, which we could get into later, but it would basically make it where if you want to specialize in range, you bring your rifle. If you want to specialize in a shotgun, you bring a large shotgun. If you want to basically sacrifice a little bit of both, but be versatile, so I'm talking about a shorty, for instance, a compact shotgun, you could bring it with a compact rifle, and that would be 2 medium slots. So it's like you either pick one, you pick short to be more efficient in short range or long range, or if you want to be somewhere in the middle, you could bring 2 medium slot weapons, and then you're giving up a little bit, right, of accuracy and shotgun range or whatnot. I just think that would open things up a lot more. And yeah, have it where you can push a compound and it's not just all shotguns. You could go back to you know, these fun shootouts with actual bullets, not just shotguns. Like I can't go into, and don't even get me started on melee. I think Hunt Showdown could really benefit from melee combat kind of coming back, but in order to do that, they need to remove Quartermaster. I mean, there's no point of really using fanning anymore because it, you know, yes, you could get a kill, but it takes so long to reload your pistol. You just might as well have Quartermaster with a shotgun. And again, it's, you know, you used to be able to read your enemy back in the day, and that was a lot of fun. Nowadays, you just have to assume everyone has everything. You know, everyone has a shotgun. Can I melee this person? Probably not. You know, because even though he's using a Winfield, he probably has a shotgun with it because of Quartermaster. So again, don't really like that. And as far as the shotguns, yeah, like I said, the only shotgun or maybe two shotguns I think should be in the game would be the Romero and maybe the double barrel. Those are the only shotguns I think should be in the game. And the reason why I would want those as the only shotguns is just, again, to bring back melee. It's melee's so much fun in Hunt, and you just can't do it anymore with all the shotguns and all the, you know, we didn't used to have levering terminuses back in the day, or the slate, and those are almost impossible to, you know, try to combat axe someone, right? Where before, even the Spectre back in the day shot very slowly, so you could still almost bait a shot and then kind of go in for like a stab or something. You know, what I would do is make all shotguns besides the Romero and double barrel slugs only, and change how slugs work completely. So give them more ammo, make it where it's more like a medium to close range rifle. So it's, yeah, maybe it's not effective longer range, like past 30 meters, but it's effective 30 meters and under. So you could like 2-hit someone, and have it where maybe you can 1-hit kill under 5 meters. So yeah, the slate, the terminus, all Spectre, Crown, make those slugs only. Just have it a powerful close range, almost rifle, slug rifle. The slugs go pretty far in real life, you know, so it makes sense. And then and yeah, and basically what you're doing is all the spammy shotguns, you're making it where they only can 1-hit under 5 meters. So that's bringing back your melee, and it's still a really viable option because you're basically having a close range rifle that has the potential to 1-hit kill under 5 meters. So I think it fits perfectly. Yeah, and it would give more use out of Iron Eye, you know, for your Spectre, your Slate, your Terminus, you know, for using the iron sights of the shotguns. So yeah, SureFoot, sprint while holding primed throwables. I think this should just be given to everyone. They should just change how it works when you're using first aid kits, right? Consumable shots, throwables. Allow everyone just to sprint. It's not, I think it's too unfair when someone has SureFoot and another person doesn't. And it's fine. Like if you want to patch your bleed, you still have to walk unless you're using a first aid kit, and then you could run. I just think they need to update the game. It would make it, you know, faster pace and more fair for everyone. So this should just be given by default. All right. Magpie doubles the amount of dark side boost received for solos. I think that should just be by default. Solos should get 10 seconds while teams get 5. Because they only could hold 1 bounty and a team could hold 2. So I don't like that it's requires a trait. I think they could do something different for solos. Salient, yeah, I think Hunt Showdown would benefit from focusing more on melee combat again. It's so much fun, but you only see it in like 2-star lobbies. They should bring it back. No one, you know, yes, this trait pretty much was conjoined with Tomahawk, but no one's ever going to really bring this because, again, you never have room. Like you're not going to bring a Salient and give up something like Doctor, right? There's just too many good traits right now where it fills up your Hunter traits, and you just don't get to use the, stuff like this, the 1-point traits. Again, like Poacher, you know, Magpie, whatever it is, Kite Skin. So I think by giving everyone tomahawk by default, which just makes sense, where you're out of bullets, things are going crazy, but you see like a pitchfork there, you could grab it, throw it at someone. I think that would be so much fun. Plus, since they introduced grunts dropping their weapons when you kill them, it would be cool to be able to pick up their weapons and throw it at people, right? So the Dr. Grunt has a surgical poison saw, or grunts have those meat blades, right? So yeah, incorporate melee, give everyone tomahawk by default. Don't make it a trait. All right, Blade Seer I think should be Blade Mancer. This is pretty useless. I've been saying that for like 5 years. Allowing Darkseid to pick up, basically slurp up your throwables. So pretty much what they should do with that. Adrenaline, receive a small stamina boost when entering critical health. I don't know anyone who brings this trait, but I think the change that I would make on this is being revived with 100% stamina. I could see that being useful for people who, are maybe being necroed in a building. You're gonna stand up next to other hunters, and maybe your guns don't have bullets in them, so you're gonna want to knife everyone. And you can't do that unless if you have a stam shot, right? So I think it would be cool to make this trait make you be revived with full stamina. Okay, decoy supplies. This is fine, I guess. Kind of wish decoys just matched your weapons you were holding, because they're too predictable. For instance, if you are holding a Winfield with a Pax, your blank fire should be making Winfield or Pax sounds. But as far as getting them from ammo crates, yeah, that's fine. All right, determination starts stamina recovery sooner. Yeah, this is fine, I guess. I would rather see this be changed to where you can rejuvenate stamina while sprinting. I think that would be more useful. Anyway, Kite Skin. They're playing around with the catalyst trait, never die from falling. I think that should just be updated for Kite Skin, because it does suck when you're specializing in fall damage by having this trait, and you could get hit by sparks and still die, even with the Kite Skin. So it'd be cool to have that change. All right, Blast Sense. While using Dark Sight, you can see gunshots and silent weapons. Yeah, this is pretty useless. I don't know anyone who sacrifices a trait slot for this. I think it would be better if you could just blast things with your sense. So with Dark Sight, so maybe using Dark Sight can ignite barrels, right? So like your red barrels, your yellow barrels, maybe even lanterns for dog kennels and whatnot. I think that would be pretty cool. And then, they could ask for more than two trait points for this. All right, Fast Fingers. This one, I don't like it. It's janky on the reloading. Yeah, just not a fan. I understand they wanted to make single shot rifles more competitive against all the faster firing rate weapons. But I think it takes away with what's special about single shot weapons, and that is the fact that they have multiple, you could interchange with a different ammo type. So like, on the Sparks, for example, you could bring fire and regular bullets, right? What I think they can do with this trait instead is just make it where you can switch your ammo types quicker. So right now, it's hard micromanaging the two ammo types, because if you want to switch from fire bullets to regular bullets, it takes 4 seconds, which is basically the whole reload time. I think if you had Fast Fingers, you can toggle your ammo types quicker, would be really nice, and then it would be easier. So for example, instead of 4 seconds, maybe 1 or 2 seconds, right? Half the time. All right, Pitcher's kind of underused. It is very good, but I think it would be kind of cool if, it also increased the velocity of throwables. So for instance, you could use that for your spears, your throwing knives, your throwing axes, stuff like that. So maybe by like 25 velocity, that would be kind of cool. All right, as far as tools goes, blank fire decoys, like I previously mentioned, I think it should match the guns you're holding as far as the decoy sounds it's making, because they're too predictable currently. Alert trip mines, I don't like that they light players on fire and burn bars. I think it would be better if it was just a blinding effect. So maybe 2.5 seconds for one, and then a pair would be 5 seconds. You know, it's a firework. It could work as like a flash bomb trap. All right. I think for chokes, it would be nice if it was a set of 4 instead of 3. 3 is just not enough. Also, I think they should work similar to like poison bombs and detonate on impact. So if you think of like the choke bolts and the hand crossbow, those are impact based. I think these should also be impact based. I don't think it should be different. That way you could also use it for some crazy like combat moments. For instance, let's say a red barrel gets ignited next to you. You could like quickly throw a choke on it and defuse it. I think that would be really sick. Maybe even do that for like nades and stuff. All right, so going towards consumables. All right, ammo box. Yeah, I think getting only 5 bullets for long ammo and like 15 for compact isn't really fair. I would like to see this kind of streamlined where maybe 10 bullets no matter what ammo type it is. So compact, medium, or long, you just get 10 bullets. And then they could keep the 5 bullets for shotguns, but that's the change I would make for ammo boxes. I think if they made poison bombs like a tool where you get like a set of 3 of them, that would be interesting. So you could use that to like quickly defend a building, or maybe throw it on a dead hunter, or maybe you want to deal with crows or ducks silently. You could clear the way with this. So it could be like more of a gadget. I think that would be a better route for this item. And who knows, maybe you could use this for PvE as well. And even like bosses, would be cool to see this as a tool. Another one I can see that might be good as a tool as well is possibly chaos bombs. Just the syringe meta. I'm not a big fan of recovery shots and even the regeneration shots. I think regeneration shots should just be given to all players where you could carry over your bars when you're regenerating. I don't like the fact that it has to be a consumable slot. So I don't like the fact that it's a consumable. So just change the game where everyone can carry over your bars. And then to keep the regeneration shot in the game still, they could just have it instead make your passive regeneration rate doubled. So you could take a regeneration shot, just have doubled the regeneration rate. Kind of similar to Vigor, but through a shot. And then again, the recovery shot, it's you down a player, they get rezzed, and it's just too forgiving with the recovery shots. There's so many ways to get your health back now with wild targets, banishing the boss, and all your burn trades. But I don't think we need a recovery shot, and it just kind of takes away from all your consumables that you could be bringing instead. I remember talking with Dennis before events were even a thing. I kind of gave him the idea that got turned into events, and what we were trying to solve was, if you had a spawn fight and you're missing health, there was 2 things that would happen. One, players wouldn't want to engage with the bounty and contest it because they were down health. They would rather just extract and restart. So what our idea was, the idea I gave them was you could earn points from looting dead hunters, and then maybe have a point of interest, some kind of altar, maybe in the middle of the map, or it changes locations. That could be a place that people can ambush you or set traps, or just another place that you could engage with hunters, but also you could spend those points. And again, that's what turned into what the events are today. But I was more wanting it to be like you could go there you could go there to recover health, which again, like the events, they have the I don't know what it's called, the recovery med kit. And then what I was thinking is there could be some other the other problem that I was trying to solve with that is like maybe you could spend your points to like sabotage one of the extractions for like a few minutes, just to give you a chance to actually contest it. Because sometimes when you get in a heated fight, and let's say the bounty gets banished early and they have the extraction right next to them, you don't have time to contest it. So it would be cool if you could, remotely sabotage their extraction for 3 to 5 minutes, just to give you a chance to go up there if you had a previous engagement. So that's kind of my idea on what I thought the points could be used for. Maybe one could be like a decaying gas that comes from the bounty layer. So where the bounty was killed, maybe it starts spreading this gas, kind of, forcing the bounty carriers to not be able to just hunker in and just wait for 45 minutes. It kind of pushes them to go out there and either try to extract or try to engage. That could be a way of kind of breaking stalemates instead of currently doing it with Quartermaster and low visibility, trying to get people to fight closer. Because no one likes, all the fog and the low visibility times of days. Instead of sitting in a layer for 45 minutes when no one's pushing in, it just kind of gets the ball rolling and motivates the bounty carriers to leave and try to extract or engage. All right, so the second thing I would change about Hunt would be the burn system. I think you should only lose health bars when you've been downed and being burned while downed. Otherwise, when you're alive, I don't think fire should actually permanently remove health bars. I think it should just char instead. That way, for example, if you're fighting Hellborn and you lose 90% of your bars and a team comes up, if you can't finish them off, you could just run away, and at least over time you'll regenerate all your health. If it was just char versus actually permanently losing health, and for instance, like Dragon's Breath, they could kind of, make it like a normal shotgun that also chars. I think charring is very powerful with ammo, because it's actually reducing your maximum health pool, at least temporarily. And then they could just make Dragon's Breath actually kill at the proper range. So instead of, I don't know if it's like 6 meters or 7 meters, they could just have it whatever the shotgun normally kills at, 10 or over. All right, so now moving on to Bounty Hunt and Bounty Clash. I think Clash takes away from Bounty Hunt, and I don't think that's a good thing. I think they should just focus more on Bounty Hunt and kind of fix the problems that are there, and see what people like about Clash and kind of apply that to Bounty Hunt. So as far as Bounty Clash, what I think that should be is, instead of just a more condensed, faster pace Bounty Hunt, I think it should just be random loadouts given to everyone. So for instance, and they could do so many fun things with that. Let's just say a Winfield with a sledgehammer and everyone has the same. I think that would be a lot of fun. They could do a lot of cool different combinations, and yeah, that's pretty much what I would like to see with Clash. And as far as Bounty Hunt, I did mention kind of fixing the problem with how hard it is to transverse, like all the running. I think if they up the sprint duration, it would help a little bit. Not really getting into like ideas with transportation, but I think having 15 player minimum is really necessary for Bounty Hunt, because as it is, we get 12 or less, depending if it's even a full lobby, and it's just not enough for how big the map is, 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. Another change I would do for Bounty Hunt that I think would kind of fix the objective that Crytek's always struggled on motivating players for. What I would do, the first thing I would do is focus on single bounties. I don't like the double bounties. It should be a showdown. And when you have split bounties, it's, you always have teams running away or never engaging with each other because they're on opposite sides. And yes, it does give people wins, and that's probably what they want, but it breaks it up too much, because what ends up happening is sometimes you only fight one team and it's very dry, and you're spending almost 30 minutes in a bounty hunt and it's not really engaging when you only have one team, because the other team's across the map and they're probably just going to leave by the time you even get there. So yeah, I think Bounty Hunt should always be a single bounty objective, and and not double bounties. And as it is, they basically made even the single bounties double bounties now by giving bounties to wild targets. I don't mind side objectives, but I don't think it should take away from the main objective. So you get a bounty now with wild targets, and a lot of times that team extracts, or is again splitting the players up too much. Instead, I think the wild targets should just give a full banish recovery to your team, and also maybe drop like 3 burn traits as a motivator to go over there and do that. I think that would be better, and that way they can go do like Raja and then still try to contest the main objective. Now, the second thing I would change to motivate the bounty, besides again, like we talked about, also bounty tokens being used for specific traits when you extract with them. But I think what I would do as far as having a objective focused bounty hunt is the extraction that the bounty leaves at. When the bounty extracts at an extraction, I think the other 2 extractions should disappear. Only extraction available would be the one that the bounty extracted at. So if a bounty extracts at extraction A has maybe a 5-minute timer, and so everyone can use that extraction only. Similar to like if all bounties extract, how the match time goes down to like 5 minutes, it would be something similar. And what basically that fixes is, for one, if someone's just farming event points, all the way at the corner of the map, they have no interest in having to go towards the bounty. If anything, they stay away because they can just farm and then use any extraction. But if that's the only extraction available, they would be forced to at least gravitate towards that extraction because they know they only have a 5-minute window to leave. And I think that could make it really interesting as far as other teams that are still around. They can contest with players over also trying to leave. And so there could be some ambushes and some fun there. And then the bounty that's leaving at extraction, they can use that as their benefit, knowing that everyone is probably coming towards them because that's the only extraction that's going to be available. And they could kind of bait leaving and maybe push out and get some kills or whatnot. Now, if there's multiple bounties left, what would happen is, let's just say one bounty extracts at extraction A. Well, instead of locking down the rest of them, what could happen is bounty A is on a 5-minute extraction time, and then it disappears. So then there's only 2 extractions left for the remaining bounties, depending on how they get split up. So anyway, so that's pretty much how it would work, and it pretty much fixes all the problems that we currently have with people not focusing the objective. All right, sorry for rambling for so long, but yeah, this is just some of the changes that I think would be very beneficial towards the game. I have other ideas on why the game's dying and changes that they could be making, but just on fundamentals as far as trait balancing and objective balancing, these are the changes that I would make. But anyway, see you guys around.